yesterday is gone, and to me it's completely gone. So today it's different. My brain isn't working properly. Well, that is what they say anyway. Yeah.
How do you find that?
Annoying, really annoying. Yeah.
He's got young onset FTD, which is frontal temporal dementia. The progression is just continuous. Sometimes Russell loses skills quite quickly and we don't realise they're gone, and other times it just seems to just sit in a valley. Most days he goes down and catches lunch at the tea rooms. He goes and helps himself to the food, and then he puts his little card down that Becky's made him. It's got pot of tea for Russell and he just pushes it in front of the coffee, whoever's the coffee person that day, and they make him a pot of tea, and he helps himself to whatever he wants to eat out of the cabinet, don't you?
Yep.
So he keeps them from having a huge profit. You quite enjoy that, and the girls make a fuss of you and you come home with a pocket full of lollies. He pinches all the coffee lollies. The reason why we decided to get a tracker was one Christmas we were staying over at our son's, all of us, and David got up in the morning to discover, to get a phone call from Russell, and he'd walked from Le Bon's Bay to Little River and he was going to walk home.
Walk all the way home,
yeah, so David picked him up and brought him home because he knew that's where he wanted to come, and the rest of us drove home later when we gathered all the children and that. So that was one incident, and then and in the meantime Russell was continuing to do 10 or 12 hour walks every day. Mostly I knew where he was. Well, I trusted that I knew where he was. He'd say, I'm going to Waia. He used to walk to Waia, and then I would, and then either start coming back or ring me from Waia and I'd go and get him. Or he would walk the back roads of Cheviot, and he had a couple of places, friends that we'd have a cup of tea and then walk down. So like for instance, he'd walk from here to Gore Bay, across to the main road, down to the Huranui main road bridge, round all the back roads and back into Cheviot. So 10 or 12 hours most days, which didn't worry me because the locals were very good, and they'd ring and the postie would say, I've just come down Easelton Road and I passed Russell. Asked him if he wanted to ride, but he didn't want to ride, or someone else, you know, that's the part of having caring community. A road worker one day said to Russell, if you're going to walk, you better have my high-vis jacket, so he got a vest. And then another time I was away, and I don't know where I was, I can't remember, but Russell decided to get up in the middle of the night and walk to Kaikoura.
Oh. Yeah.
And he thought, because it was quite dark, if he walked in the middle of the road he'd be able to see the white lines and he could be safe, he wouldn't fall off the edges. But he forgot about the fact that we have these huge trucks going through. And one of the truckies called it in to the police, and a policeman came up and brought him home and growled at him. After that, Russell stopped walking on the big walks. But before he did stop walking, I thought, well, you know, if he decides to go cross country or anything, we're never ever going to find him, because he knows these hills, but having worked on them so well. So I talked to Jackie, who was involved with Canterbury Dementia in those days, and she said, well, actually, you can get all sorts of things, but she felt the Wander track was best for us because search and rescue are involved and the police are involved. So we joined that and we felt that the pendant was better than a wrist thing, because Russell can just put it on and forget about it.
That is for the police to find me. You know, they have their microphones on, they fix me up, they can find me. Just in case I go out and I get completely lost, I wouldn't know where I am, so I just walk anywhere, like that.
I have to let him walk, and people used to say to me, when he first walked, people would say to me, you know, what happens if he gets knocked down and is killed? And I'd say, well,
It's part of life.
well, yeah, and he, God forbid that ever happened, and I'd feel sorry for the person that knocked him down, but he's doing what he has always loved doing, is being outside, outdoors, walking, the freedom of being, being his own boss and things like that. If Russell didn't have the tracker on, I would be worried the whole time he was away. I mean, it's still in the back of my mind and I'm still aware, but yeah, I think that anyone that wanders, and dementia people often, even if they've never been a walking person, they will often wander. I think they should have some form of tracking on them. I think it's very important for their family and for themselves.